We have some major breaking news. It has been announced that 2311 Racing and Furrow Motorsports will appeal the overturning of the original preliminary injunction to grant them charter teams for 2025. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to your video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive and major breaking news this afternoon, as it has been announced, as expected, that both 2311 Racing and Furrow Motorsports will appeal the overturning of the preliminary injunction in regards to granting them charters for the 2025 season. And as reported by Bob Pockets as well, as expected, 2311 Front Row have asked for appeals panel to reconsider all the judges of the U.S. Court of Appeals 4th Circuit to hear injunction appeal. This will delay them losing the charters until 7 days after decision not to hear it again or a rehearing decision. What this means is that instead of only hearing 3 of the judges, which there were only 3 judges on the original appeals panel that took place, they'll be asking all 15 judges, part of the 4th Circuit of Appeals in Richmond County in Virginia. They will be required all to hear that, and they'll make a decision on that front as well. Here was what was written by 2311 in the original thing today. First, the panel's open answers incorrectly a question of exceptional importance under Section 2 of the Sherman Act. Section 2 forbids a monopolist form using anti-competitive acts to maintain the monopoly. The question is whether a monopolist may forbid participants from entering the market unless they agree not to challenge monopoly in court. The monopolist here, NASCAR, requires premier stock car racing teams sign a release of antitrust claims as a condition of racing with the charter. Racing with the charter is, as the district court found and the panel's opinion did not dispute, the only economic viable way to race. Thus, NASCAR is using a release to maintain its monopoly. The panel's opinions ruled as a matter of law that a release of antitrust claims cannot be as anti-competitive act because no decision has found a Section 2 violation based on the context, but neither does any decisions allow it. This is an issue of exceptional importance because if the panel's opinion stands, other monopolists will require release of antitrust claims to maintain their monopolies. Second, the panel's opinion overlooked an important legal matter in conflicts with this court's decision in Duke Energy Carolinas and among other things. The panel's opinion, however, addressed this one anti-competitive act in isolation, NASCAR insisting on the release as a condition of entry rather than considering whether the release of an anti-competitive when combined with NASCAR's other anti-competitive acts. NASCAR's act includes locking up racetracks so that competitors cannot use them, imposing non-compete agreements on racing teams, and acquiring its close competitor. The panel's opinion declined to consider NASCAR's conduct as a whole, convening Duke Energy. What this means is that they want, we've heard from the teams as well recently in regards to this, that they want a lot of things to be opened up. They want the opportunity for other organizations like IndyCar to be able to go to NASCAR on tracks. If I'm not mistaken, no current IndyCar race on the schedule takes place at a current NASCAR-owned track, like Kansas Speedway, a track, in my opinion, that would put on really good racing for IndyCar, and I believe also Homestead Miami Speedway as well. What the teams also want, according to this, is they want to have the opportunity to make decisions on the next-gen car, and they want to be able to have exhibition events as well. It's no secret that going back to, I believe, 2022 or 2023, a lot of teams are wanting to have exhibition events with the next-gen car that could take place without NASCAR being in control. But according to what has been noted in the charter agreement, they are not allowed to take the next-gen car to any non-NASCAR sanctioned event. This means they couldn't take it to like an IMSA race, for example, unless you take it to Garage 56, which NASCAR has full control on. You can't take it to an IMSA event and run it there. You have to run a different type of car, like a GTP car, an LMGT, all that kind of stuff. You would have to run it there. This obviously is not shocking and surprising. The other reason why I believe they're appealing this is because if they did not appeal this today, they would lose their charters in 7 days. NASCAR stated publicly that they don't want to do business with 2311 or Front Row. We do know 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, they have talked about maybe having some sort of settlement with NASCAR, but NASCAR does not want to settle on the terms that 2311 and Front Row want to settle on. They want to settle basically on their own grain of things and keep things as they are. The judge in the case, Kenneth Bell, has stated publicly that he isn't sure if both sides are going to win, whether one side is going to win or other side is going to win. It is going to be very difficult for both sides to win in this case. At this point, one of the other reasons is so they can keep their charters throughout the 2025 season, because the trial, to my understanding, is taking place on December 1st or December 2nd of 2025, which is about 5 months away at this particular point. I think that the other big reason is because so they can compete as charter teams, because drivers like Tyler Reddick, Bubba Walls, Corey Heim, Riley Herbst, Todd Gillen, Noah Gragson, and Zane Smith, all the drivers under the 2311 Racing and Furrow Motorsports banner, all of them, if I'm not mistaken, in their agreements, they are required to have charters in their agreements so they can compete in the year. If they were to lose their charters, and they do lose this appeal, this could open up the silly season in major ways. There is a potential possibility that Tyler Reddick can end up in a team like Joe Gibbs Racing with his Monster Energy contract if this all falls through, because I remember correctly, Tyler Reddick almost wasn't even in a 2311 racing car this year, and there was a chance that something like that was going to end up taking place. And you think about some other stuff as well in regards to this case. NASCAR has had some things, because originally in the case it looked like NASCAR was originally going to win the case. Then as time has gone on, since Kenneth Fell's come in and taken over for the original judge, basically since he's came in, it seemed like the teams had to upgrade and they were at a really big advantage in regards to the lawsuit, and they're winning a lot of different things. But now over the last couple weeks, things have shifted very quickly, and NASCAR is winning currently at the moment. I think that, and just something that is very important to note in regards to this, just because a decision was made at the moment on the charters so they can compete as charter teams, this does not have a full impact on the whole entire case. There is still a really good chance and possibility that 2311 and Furrow Motorsports could go on and win the case. There's a great possibility that could end up happening. However, there's also a chance possibly they could lose the case, but that's why they're in the discovery process currently at the moment. The only reason they're trying to get this is so they can keep their charters so they can compete as full-time teams, because they have a lot of money invested in these charters. They'll be losing out on millions upon millions of dollars for both organizations, and from what we have heard and rumors have speculated about this as well, it has been noted that basically from what I've heard, NASCAR might be asking the teams that did basically for all the money they've gotten from the charter money so far this year for the first 15 or 16 races of the year, especially considering you've got some big races coming up in NASCAR. You've got Atlanta Motor Speedway next week, though it seems like this decision isn't going to come into play for a couple weeks now with it being delayed, and depending on if they win their side of things, NASCAR could go then and appeal their side of things. This is probably going to be an endless cycle at this point. But again, there is a very good chance and possibility that at some point this year that both 2311 and Front Row could lose their charters altogether. And I think that's really unfortunate for 2311 and Front Row Motorsports. But the most important thing to know, which of course the Stewart-Haas Racing charters play a role with Michael Jordan as well, if they do go ahead and win this appeal, they would then get their charters back altogether. But we'll have to wait and see what happens on that front in that situation if they'll be able to keep their charters. If they're able to win the appeal, they will keep their charters for the remainder of the year. It's only for the 2025 season, so they can keep those charters. I'm going to be interested to see what happens to the remainder of this lawsuit, because once we get to the discovery phase of this lawsuit, I think that is really going to be the interesting factor here. I don't think it's all about what's going on, at least with the preliminary injunction, among other things. I think a lot of this is just busy work at this point, and we're just kind of waiting for what's going to be brought into the discovery phase. NASCAR has asked the teams that signed the charter agreement, like Colleague Racing, like RFK Racing, I believe like Trackhouse, like Hendrick, like Joe Gibbs Racing. They've asked all these teams to kind of show a little bit of their documentation on the money they're using to try to get a little see how much money they're making. I think they may have also asked 2311 and Front Row as well, so they can prepare for the case. As again, the teams have said they want to settle, but NASCAR is not budging at this point. Their heads are deep in the sand from what I know, and they don't want to back out currently at the moment in regards to the lawsuit. I'm very interested to see what happens in regards to the lawsuit going forward, and we'll be paying attention to this story as time progresses and goes on, but there's a great chance and possibility that if they do lose their appeal, that the charters will go away in the next couple weeks. It seems like the decision won't be coming into effect till after Chicago, perhaps now, because we know they're going to run a fourth car for Corey Heim as well at Chicago. I'm interested to see what happens to the remainder of the lawsuit, as I think a lot of very interesting things will be coming out very soon. So that is your today's special breaking news report on 2011 and Front Row appealing the preliminary injunction overturned. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your thoughts about the preliminary injunction being overturned by NASCAR? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And do you think they'll be able to get their charters back altogether if they lose them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In a couple hours from now, we're going to see the NASCAR Craftsman Craftsman Truck Series race review from Pocono Raceway. There's also potential possibility if there's a disqualification. We'll have video on that as well. Then on Saturday, we're going to have the qualifying reactions for Cup at Pocono, and we're going to have the race review for Xfinity as well. And then on Sunday, of course, we'll have the starting lineup video for the Great American Getaway 400 at Pocono, and we also will have the race review as well for Cup, and maybe a Shane Van Gisbergen video. On the Monday, we should have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the next couple of days as we head to Atlanta Motor Speedway. We got content coming out, people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cars, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Ryan Preece, RFK Racing, Junior Motorsports, Connor Zills, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Cletus McFarland, Frankie Muniz, Tony Breidinger, Prime, KSI, Logan Paul, all the good stuff we'll be talking about on the channel in coming days and weeks, along with Cletus McFarland, Dodge, and all that good stuff. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.